Today is the 3rd of July and honestly it actually feels more like autumn. It feels like October. It's only around about 13 degrees and we've had quite a lot of rain today. I really do regret wishing for rain just a few weeks ago, because now it just won't stop raining. Every single day it's bloody raining. So yeah, we've had a lot of rain recently, and that gives me an opportunity to do some jobs in the greenhouses and in the sheds. But to be honest, I am kind of glad that it has been wet today and I have managed to do some things in the greenhouse, because I've been so busy and overloaded with gardening jobs and things going on, and it is hard to find the time to come down and do things sometimes. And one of the jobs which I want to be doing today is doing a little bit more sowing. I want to do some successional sowing. Now that there are a few things outside which are going to be getting harvested and getting cleared very soon, such as our onions, our potatoes, our broccoli, broad beans, just to name a few, there are a few things which are going to be leaving beds empty very soon in the next couple of weeks. So by successionally sowing some more things, I will then have some things ready to go outside for when these crops are harvested. I really don't like leaving beds empty and just going to waste. And our growing season is pretty short anyway. We're limited to growing most crops for only a few months of the year. So I want to cram as much productivity into the growing season as possible, because we've only really got a couple of months left really before it starts getting cool again. Now I am still slowly getting the hang of successional sowing, basically staggering your sowings and doing some sowings every few weeks to make sure you've got a continuous supply of harvests. Now it does require a lot of planning, and I'm just going to go through what I'm going to be successionally sowing. These are just things that are going to go in the beds once I've cleared what's already in there. Now quite a few things which I am successionally sowing today are included in my What You Can Sow in July video, which I did this time last year. Obviously I'm not going to do another one, there's no point doing the same video over again. But if you do want to give that a watch, I will leave a card somewhere up here later on in the video if you want to go and give that a watch, for all the different other things which you can sow in July as well. But obviously I'm not sowing everything because I don't want to overload myself. I've got some trays here which I'm going to be doing my sowing in. So I've just filled these up with a mixture of coconut coir and a little bit of worm castings and compost. Nothing crazy really, nothing with loads of nutrients in, because I'm only going to be growing these until they're seedlings really. All the nutrients needed to get them plants off to the start, ready to go outside, is going to be inside the seed itself. So I don't really need a nutrient-rich growing medium to get them started. So that's our seed trays there, nothing crazy going on there. So starting off my list of things which I'm sowing this month, successionally sowing, is we're going to be sowing some purple sprouting broccoli. Now we're not going to be harvesting this year, this is going to be next spring. Now I did do some last year, but I don't think I got the plants off to a good enough start. I didn't get them big enough before winter kicked in. So we did lose them to the really hard frost which we got over the winter when it got down to like -10. Yeah, we lost them. So by sowing these now, I should manage to get them to a good enough size to go outside into their spot and become established before winter kicks in. So purple sprouting broccoli is our first one. And I'm going to be sowing another lot of normal broccoli, some calabrese broccoli, and I've already started picking some of it outside, and once you harvest the main head you will get these tender stem broccoli shoots coming off as well for a few weeks afterwards. But I'm going to try and squeeze in another crop of broccoli. It is a little bit late, but I'm thinking I probably could get some in September if I sow these now. So that's that. And we're also going to be sowing today some dwarf French beans, some bush beans. Now I am growing a lot of beans already, runner beans and French beans, which are growing up the big bamboo supports now, which they're actually beans on them. Not ready to pick yet, but we're getting there. But I'm going to be filling in empty spaces with these as well, because you can freeze beans. They're ideal for freezing, canning, and we really like them. So I'm just going to grow a bulk crop like this, just for some extra productivity really, and it's just a freezer filler really for over the winter. Okay, so next thing we're gonna be sowing some more leafy greens as well. We've got some mixed lettuce varieties here. We've already had a few harvests of lettuce now. Our first lot is bolted. Our second lot is now just coming in, and we're just starting to pick it now. But when they're finished, I'm going to have another lot as well to see us into the autumn months. So, yep, they're a really nice mixture of different lettuces there. We're also sowing some mustard and mizuna as well, which will also, if I get these plants established before the winter kicks in, these could also be giving us some harvests into the autumn months as well. And then also some spinach as well. We've already got some which we're harvesting now, but this is going to be the second lot for when they bolt. And then last seeds that we're sowing is swede. Now this one is probably slightly late as well, but yeah, we'll give it a go, see if we can do some swedes and just throw them in wherever we have empty spaces, because there will be quite a few empty spaces soon. But we're also, now last year when I harvested my potatoes, I had some left over which were in the shed, and I've still got them now. They've not rotted and they're in good condition, and they've actually chitted. So we're going to plant those in an empty bed as well in the ground and just see what happens really. See if we can get some potatoes in the autumn as well. Now we are growing 33 buckets of main crop potatoes, but these are just going to be an extra one just to throw in and see what happens. Now that is just a very small handful of things which you can sow in July, and as I said, I will leave a card later up in this video if you want to go and check out my list of things you can sow in July which are ideal for successionally sowing. Do give that video a watch, because you might find it useful. There are plenty of things you can still sow in July actually, even though it is the middle of summer. So, right, so I'm just going to start sowing these now. I've got these relatively large module cells for these French bush beans here. Now, they're going to be going out in a couple of weeks anyway, so they don't need massive containers, and like I said before, the growing medium is pretty, there's not much nutrients in that, and you don't really need the nutrients, to be honest. Well, I'm just pressing them in there, nothing crazy. Now I could directly sow these, but the thing is I don't actually have anywhere to directly sow them yet. It's going to be in the next couple of weeks, and I just like giving them a head start, getting them started. You can protect them from the slugs this way as well, and I just feel like I've got more control and I can keep an eye on them. So yeah, you can directly sow them, but with me, like I said, I can't do them yet. If I were to directly sow these in the onion bed in a couple of weeks time, I'm going to be a couple of weeks behind, whereas like I'm starting them off now, I already have a bean plant ready to go out straight away. Yeah, these beans are an ideal, really fast growing crop. They'll be giving us beans probably around September time. And I'm also going to be thinking about garlic soon as well. I'll be planting garlic in September. That's only a couple of months away. this year has really flown. It's crazy actually. Can't believe how fast it's going. We're already in July, and in just a couple of months' time we'll be packing everything away, ready for winter again. Yeah, it just comes so fast. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? So purple sprout and broccoli. I'm going to actually sow a couple of these in each module and then thin them out. And then once I've got some true leaves on them, I'll then, I will repot them up into compost and grow them on till they're a bit bigger, and then they'll probably be transplanted outside around about August, September time. Really, so I'm literally just getting them off to a start here in these modules. I'm going to do quite a few because purple sprouting broccoli is a really good one for the hunger gap early in the spring when there's nothing else really ready to harvest. Yeah, really productive thing to grow actually. As I said, I didn't actually get any this year, but last year and the year before I did get a lot of purple sprouting broccoli in April, May. So it's well worth growing. Just as I said, you start it in the summer and then you get a crop the following year. So I've seen a few people on Facebook, particularly on veg gardening groups and stuff, who have asked why the purple sprouting broccoli is not creating any why it's not giving them any broccoli, and that's simply because purple sprouting broccoli flowers or produces broccoli in its second season, so you have to leave it over winter. You're not going to get anything in your first year growing it. Okay, purple sprouting broccoli. I'm going to label these. Remember to label things. Sometimes I forget to label things and then it come back to it and I don't know what the heck it is. I'm sure many of you can relate. There we go. So there's around about 3 in each one of those, about 1 centimetre deep. I've not buried them that deep. And when they come up, I will thin out the weakest looking seedlings and leave 1 in each module to grow. So it's got a couple of leaves, and then I will prick them out into compost and grow them until they're about 6 inches before they go outside. I'm going to do a few normal broccoli as well, which will hopefully give us some broccoli in September. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. One season, I think it was 2021, I actually got 3 harvests in the same season because I successionally sowed them. Wow, there's not many seeds in there. Look at that. That's all the seeds. That's all the broccoli seeds in there. Yeah, there's not many seeds in that packet. Wow. Very, very stingy nowadays. That variety is called Iron Man, and it's an F1 variety, by the way. So coconut coir is ideal really for germinating smaller seeds because it holds moisture really well, doesn't dry out very quickly, and it's quite sterile as well, very fine, there's no big lumps. And yeah, I do like using coconut coir sometimes because it's pretty cheap, sustainable, it's a byproduct of the coconut industry, so yeah, it's not damaging to the environment like peat. It's not like peat. So I'm just going to do a few spinach and a few bits of leafy greens, nothing major at all. I always end up overdoing it with lettuce, and then I end up with loads and loads and loads of lettuce. So yeah, there isn't really any need to do loads. But I have to say, this is a really nice mixture of butterhead, cos, crisp and loose leaf types. So yeah, there's plenty of different ones in there. I'm just going to sow a couple in each one, and I can just prick out the ones which I want, the varieties which I like. And then just a bit of Mizuna and a bit of mustard. And Mizuna plants get absolutely massive, so I'm not going to go crazy with them. I planted too many, I think it was last year, and I just ended up with Mizuna all over the place, and it all bolted as well in the end, so I ended up with these bolted Mizuna plants, and it was growing faster than I could eat it, which is no good really. And then I'm just going to do one row of spinach, multi-sown. I'm going to do a few in each one. Perpetual spinach as well, so slow to bolt as well, it gives you a continuous amount of leaves. So I'm going to do 3 in each module. Okay, so that is label. Got to remember to label them. Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, there is our successional sowing done for July. But I like to do another sowing around about this time, around July, middle of summer, because then we can squeeze in some extra harvests before winter kicks in, and some things such as the Mizuna and the lettuce, things like that, and various other things which are in my July sowing video, which you can watch here. Yeah, some of them things you can actually go on into the winter. Well, purple sprouting broccoli, for example. Not only am I thinking of squeezing more harvests into this growing season, but I'm also thinking ahead for the next season as well, for next year. Soon, like I said, I'm going to be thinking about garlic as well, and some other things which I can overwinter, like maybe spring cabbages. I might start some spring cabbages off soon as well. And just while we're here, guys, completely unrelated to the successional sowing, but I just thought I'd do a quick update on the single seed challenge and Kalette Krazy 2023 grow along. This is our single seed challenge giant pumpkin, Dill's Atlantic Giant, which was planted in a pile of horse manure, and since we've had the rain, it's actually put on a lot of growth, and it's actually growing all the way over there. One pumpkin on it there. I'm probably going to just thin them down to 1 or 2 pumpkins though, to put all the energy into growing one pumpkin. But yeah, there we go. It's now trailing away. I'm probably going to thin out these nasturtiums, which self-seeded. They've gone a little bit wild. Yeah, I need to sort that out. But yeah, single seed challenge, Dill's Atlantic Giant pumpkin growing away pretty nicely. And our Kalette Krazy 2023 grow along, I've had to net them over because the pigeons will go to town on these. Sadly, I'm probably going to have to make the netting a little bit higher actually, because these will grow pretty tall. Yeah, they're growing really nicely actually. They've been in this bed now for a few weeks' time, and they're putting on a good bit of growth now. So yeah, Kalette Krazy 2023 doing pretty well so far. Excuse the random kale plant. Yeah, there's a little bit of a outsider. Nothing to do with these. I just squeezed that in because I had it. Our 5 Kalette plants are growing nicely. And if you're not sure what Kalettes are, they're basically a cross between a Brussels sprout and kale. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Do let me know in the comments what you are growing this month, what you're successionally sowing. I'm still learning successional sowing as well. I am finding it quite difficult sometimes, to organise things, grow things in a bed, and then have something ready to go in it straight afterwards. It does require a lot of organisation and planning and knowledge of how long plants take to grow and harvest, and sometimes they can take longer than you think. The weather is cool and wet, it might take longer, and then if you've got something ready to go out, it might not always go to plan. So I am still getting to grips with it, but yeah, this is our little successional sowing for July. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do leave feedback in the comments below, because I really do appreciated. And remember, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you can see when I upload new content just like this, and press that bell icon as well so you can be notified whenever I release a gardening related video like this one. I hope you all stay safe, and remember, happy gardening, enjoy it no matter the weather.